this is Dr. Vance, and I'm out here. Actually, behind me is the entryway gate to the Taj Mahal, and today I wanted to address the whole concept of originality, and I couldn't think of a better place to do it than the Taj Mahal. But in a second, we'll be in there, and I'll have the Taj Mahal in the background, but I did want to show you the entryway gate and introduce you to the concepts. Hey, so I'm inside here at the Taj Mahal, and as you can see in the background, it's quite beautiful. But what many people don't realize is the Taj Mahal was a mausoleum built by a king for a woman that he loved. But the reason that I wanted to deal with this topic of originality here at this site was because this clearly is an original concept. I mean, there is nothing like this on the face of the earth. And so he had to come up with this idea, construct it, find the funds, find the builders, and then he spent 21 years actually constructing this site. So for us, the idea of being original or coming up with original ideas, the idea of originality is probably well defined by Adam Grant from Wharton School of Psychology. He says originality is the idea of putting together or championing a set of novel ideas that go against the grain of what most people or society thinks. Wow. I mean, that's challenging. And yet, in reality, when we look into our job descriptions here as pastors, are we not supposed to do that exact same thing where we champion a set of novel ideas, many of them from Scripture itself, but champion a set of novel ideas that go against the grain of society? Yeah, I think that's exactly what our job description is. Now, many people, as they're going forward and they start to do concepts or start to teach originally or start to champion ideas that are original, realize that the problem is that it goes against or causes people to be very uncomfortable because it challenges the status quo. Challenging the status quo has always been difficult because most people just don't want to be challenged. They don't want to have to rethink who they are and what they are and where they are. And so it becomes into our responsibility. It is our responsibility to push forward original ideas, but do it in such a way that people actually want to change. So original ideas are really our stock in trade in some ways. We are supposed to okay, so here's the reason why I'm saying that. If we just come up with ideas that everybody else comes up with, then everybody else has heard it. They pass over the idea and they don't bother to change. They aren't bothered to be challenged. It's not enough for them to be able to say, you know what, that thing can really make a difference in my life. And so our stock in trade really is to come up with original ideas and then to be able to persuade people that these things need to be a part of their lives. So now many people listen to that and they go, original ideas, oh my gosh, that is so hard to do, it's so difficult. And yeah, in some ways it is, it does take a little bit of work. But original ideas don't have to be that difficult to do. They don't have to be that difficult to conceptualize or come up with. Original ideas can be the compilation of a number of other people's ideas. They can be a new way of looking at a scripture passage. In other words, instead of talking about Mary and Joseph or the baby Jesus, we talk about the perspective of the birth of Christ from the perspective of the manger itself. There are all sorts of ways to come up with original ideas. I mean, if you're a church that has majored in on social action, our original way of approaching ministry is to spend time learning the theological foundations of why we do those social actions. For a church that has spent its time learning the theological groundwork and foundations, we often talk about social actions and impacting the community, but many times it doesn't take place. And so an original idea can be guiding people over an extended period of time on how to live out their theology in amongst the society where they live and where every single day is spent. So these can all be the groundwork for original ideas. But we're never original just for original sake. I mean, original for original sake is just some way that we get attention for ourselves. We're original because We want to make the impact of the gospel more powerful in the lives of people with whom we're working. And so every time that we come up with an original idea, whether that's a big one or a small one, whether that's within the passage that we're dealing with itself or whether it's in the process that we want our church to go through, we have to know three very crucial things. We have to know, well, first of all, why that original idea is crucial to our lives. Number two, we have to realize, or we have to show why it's biblical. And number three, we have to show people why it's right for us, for our church, for our group right now. Those three things. We have to show why the original idea is crucial. Number two, why it's biblical. And number three, why it's right for us or the group with which we work with right now. Now, every time that we do that, we have to understand three other things. We have to understand that when we take that original idea, we've got to be willing to, first of all, live it. Second of all, defend it. And then third of all, persuade others that it's correct. Because we express an original idea, we get pushback. People don't like the fact that we're challenging the status quo. And so the result is that many times a leader who's not strong enough will simply back off on the original idea. But, if you've gone through the process of determining why that original idea is crucial, number two, why it's biblical, and why it's right for this group at this particular moment, then as a leader, you should be able to persuade those around you to join you in the implementation of that idea. All right, that's this session now, and we'll leave with just one last shot of the incredible original Taj Mahal in the background.